Hi guys, and I have kind of some exciting news to tell you guys. I made it a year on the 21st being carnivore. So I kind of wanted to go over that and touch basis with how this year has been and kind of like where my head's at, and am I going to go towards ketovore? Am I going to go back to kind of incorporating things I used to eat? And so that's kind of what I'm going to go over today. Uh, I got little Bernice right here with me. She's having little moments today, so she's been wanting to stay close next to me. She has Alzheimer's or doggy dementia, something like that. She gets really confused and doesn't know where she is and what's going on. So she'll be with me today. So the first thing I want to say is I am still carnivore. I am a couple days past officially a year. I am super thrilled and proud of myself for accomplishing this. So I've done many, many different diets and have never been able to consistently, without taking a break, made it a year period doing any type of diet or program. I've always made it about 6 months and then ended up kind of resorting back to old ways or old habits. Either things weren't working, or I wasn't seeing results, or I wasn't feeling any better, or I was just exhausted from doing what I was doing and being able to keep up, especially with like not feeling good. I've done programs, like working out programs with like the diet, or just focused mainly on working out. And so I've tried it all, and like I said, I've only ever made it around 6 months before I fell off. So I am extremely proud of myself, and I feel like that speaks volumes to how obtainable like this is, and how excuse me, how simplistic it is to continue to do. I would always get very wore out with cooking and prepping meals and 3 meals a day, because any of the programs I was doing was typically, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then a morning snack, and then an afternoon snack. So eating that way, it's a lot of snacks you're prepping, a lot of meals you're prepping, and that itself would exhaust me. And especially on days I wasn't feeling good, to do all the prepping, if I didn't feel good on my prep days, then that would like set me up, and I would be scrounging the freezer for like leftover things that I saved with prepping day. Hold on, Bernice. There you go. So, it's cold in here. So just gonna wrap myself in this blanket. Hold on. Essentially, my point is that this way of eating has been substantially easier for me to obtain and keep going long term. I don't have to have multiple meals a day. I can have one meal a day if I want. If I am not feeling good and I'm, say, not in the mood for cooking, I can just skip that day and not eat that day. I don't necessarily recommend that, but I'm just saying like that was an option for me. If something came up and I had to run to town and I wasn't able to grab a snack, or I wasn't able to grab a breakfast or something like that, like I'm not worried about it, because I know that I am good and my body will do what it needs to do until I can later get to a meal, whether it be the next morning for breakfast, or whether that be 9 o'clock at night, or 7 o'clock, 5 o'clock, whatever. I knew that my body will do what it needs to do, and it will keep my blood sugar up, which before I could not go anywhere without having a snack or an emergency like sugar pick me up for getting low blood sugar. And now it is so freeing to not have to worry about my blood sugar like that at all. I know that I am good, and I like my body's gonna do what it's supposed to be doing. So that has taken a lot of the stress and your whole mindset being set on, what am I going to have for breakfast? What am I going to have for lunch? What am I going to have for dinner? Okay, I got to cook. Okay, I got to pull out something. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to prep this. I got to cut this. Do we have all the vegetables to make this? Do we have all of this? And that was mentally exhausting for me. Like, I have so much going on in my brain at all times that worrying about food was just an extra thing added to it. And yes, like, eating food is such like a comfort thing or a behavioral thing. And, like, so it's been difficult, I would say, in the past to give food up and to break those habits or those pathways in your brain and thinking that way, that, oh, I'm missing out, or, oh, I want to be able to go to this restaurant, I want to be able to go here, I want to go have this, I want to have this cheesecake, this thunder from down under, brownie ice cream dessert thing. Like, you feel like you're really missing out on the whole social stuff. I think if I wasn't at the place that I was at, mentally and physically, and just fed up with how I was feeling, I don't I think that I would have struggled a little bit more this year with, missing those connections of, those comforts of food, and, the social interactions and those kinds of things. But I was essentially like at my rock bottom, with my physical health, and, barely keeping on with like the mental too. Um, like, I was managing. Um, I'm a tough cookie when it comes to, I think, the mental stuff, just because I've had to deal with so much, and I've had to be strong and have that willpower, and that. I'm gonna take this, move my stuff here. Hold on. That I've had to be strong for, a lot of my life. So I definitely know how to cope and with things. And if I get to low points of being, just mentally over, being in pain and everything, I I've developed, like, over the years, tools and tactics and things I know that I need to do to bring myself out of, those states or those lows. Um, so I know I'm kind of rambling here. Pretty much, if I wasn't at a rock bottom or a low and really just desiring change in my life and for my life to be something more, I think this last year would have been a lot harder for me. And it truly hasn't. Like, there's been a couple little moments here and there, but I would say I've been so laser focused and so freaking determined to feel better. And once I got to like that first, I noticed, stuff the first week, I noticed stuff the second week, the third week, the first month. I think if it took 6 months for me to notice anything, physically or mentally at all, I think this could be a different conversation, or I would have had more struggles. But since it affected me in such a positive way, right away, it's been it's been remarkably easy to honestly keep to it and stick to it. I mean, when you're getting results and constant results, I mean, it's hard not to not want to stick to it, if you're losing weight consistently, for 6 months. And, you're going to be like, oh, well, what is 2 more months going to do? You're not just going to be like, oh, I'm, losing weight. It's when you're not seeing results, I feel like, is when you have a lot of people have a tendency to fall off the wagon, or, kind of get sedentary, or, you're just not seeing results. So it's kind of like messes with you a little bit mentally, and you're like, well, I'm just gonna have this, one cheat meal, whatever. Like, it's not like I'm losing weight anyways. Like, but for this, like, I was just constantly seeing new things develop with me, new things being healed, getting new results, with my mental clarity, and like my drive and motivation for making things that I have passion for, or I have interest in, making those come to fruition. If I was doing any other diet, I honestly would not be pursuing having my own small business or anything like that. I think I would be, I don't think, I know I would not have the energy, the mental capacity, um, the anything to, like, I just would have nothing to give, to put into everything it takes to kind of like do this. It's, been something I've always wanted to do. So the fact that, like, now I, within like the first couple months of starting this way of eating, like, I've had the energy, I've had the mental clarity, less foggy minded, just all of these benefits, my body feeling better, not as in much pain, not having these days of inflammation, or these days where I'm in bed rocking myself crying because I'm in so much pain. um, I'm not having these on a regular basis. That's giving me the freedom to have this space in my life to be able to, pursue something that I've always wanted to. Um, and it's just amazing. And it gives me, some kind of purpose in life other than my main function being survival, my main function, you know, just trying to get through each day. That was no way for me to live, and I knew that, and I didn't want that. That's why I've tried so many different diets. I've tried so many different things. I've reached out to so many different, doctors and types of doctors, to, help me, able to come across, um, a provider that was able to do really anything for me and my issues. I always got met with that this was like, it was too complex of a situation. As sucky as that is, like, that was the reality of the situation. But I always knew there was something for me out there. It was just a matter of like holding out and waiting until I knew what that was. And I can 100%, without like a doubt in my mind, say this was it. Being on this way of eating. I don't know how long I'm going to do this diet for. I haven't said, oh, you're going to be strict for 10 years. Oh, you're going to be strict the rest of your life. Oh, you're going to do this and then you're doing this. Like, I'm flying by the seat of my pants here, and I'm just going to keep listening to my body, and I'm going to keep just one day at a time. I can say that for the first year, I was very adamant about like sticking to this 100% so that I can give it the best chance, and I can say, oh, this did not work for me. Or, yes, that 100% worked for me. So if down the road I start eating a different way, or I add things back in, or I revert to my old ways, I know 100% that this worked for me. This made me feel better. This changed my life. Um, but saying that this changed my life is enough for me to honestly, I have so much motivation and passion for this way of eating now because of that, that the most I think I would ever incorporate back would be certain types of maybe vegetables, here and there. I was talking with my sister, and we kind of came up with a thing that would be kind of exciting. Would be to do a seasonal, or every 6 months do a feast, and that be basically our, as some people would say, a cheat day or whatever. But our feast would literally just be vegetables. It would be stuff that we grew in our garden ourselves. Like, I wouldn't want to do anything from the store. Um, so it's another reason why I really am trying to learn how to garden, is because if I were to go back to eating, some kind of vegetables or whatever, I would want it to be stuff that I grew organically myself. And I know exactly where it came from, what was put on it, blah, 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 blah. So I don't know what the whole vegetable thing looks like. I don't know exactly what I would add, but that's kind of like what we've been playing with. So, kind of the direction I'm going in now is I really want to continue sticking to how I'm eating. I have recently added in avocado oil, mayo. So I've tried that, and to help me up my fat. And that seems to really help me with the bowel movements a little bit more than I was. I'm going a little bit more frequent and more easily. So I know that that's really helping me get my fat up. But it kind of bothers my tummy a little bit. So my next step is to make some myself, and maybe try do like apple cider vinegar instead of vinegar, because I'm not sure if maybe it's the vinegar that's bothering me or if it's the avocado. I used to be able to eat avocados no problem before. So I don't know if it is the avocado now that, I've cleansed myself and I'm, can really pinpoint things better now, or if it's the vinegar, that I don't know. So my point is, I want to try making my own. Still kind of playing with the avocado mayo thing, but other than that, I want to continue to stick on the path that I'm on for now until next spring, or summertime, and see what I'm able to grow in the garden. It's kind of getting me excited and something to look forward to. I wouldn't want to incorporate vegetables and that kind of stuff all the time, but I definitely think I'm at a point now with my healing and knowing that I can do this, and I'm not, if I have something, asparagus or whatever, if I have something, oh, I'm just gonna completely go off the wagon. Like, I know that I've made it this year, and I have this strength to. I don't feel like I'm as weak as I would have felt in the first couple months. Like, I feel like I could have something occasionally and still right away go right back to this way of eating. 95 and up would still be made up of meat and fat. I'm still not going to touch fruit because I do not want the SIBO coming back. I don't know if it's still in there. I'm sure it hasn't completely died off, but I think it's, the the masses in there have died off, somewhat, or, enough to not cause me so many issues. I think if I were to start having sugar and stuff like that, it's gonna flare right back up. But right now, that doesn't give me any issues. Um, so, I mean, it's a better solution for me than taking multiple different rounds of antibiotics and how expensive they are. And there are people that take round after round after round of antibiotics for SIBO, and it just keeps coming back, because you have to get to that root cause. And I'm assuming my root cause is because I have the fructose malabsorption, so I don't absorb fructose. So it pretty much just stays in my intestines and stuff. So knowing that, if I were to have fruit, it's most likely just gonna flare back up and the symptoms come back out. The only real negative thing that I have to say about the carnivore diet so far is the gosh dang hair loss here. Like this guy, it was already thin and it is getting thinner. It is just falling out. I feel like it's like kind of a little thicker in here, but it's just getting thinner and thinner and thinner. So I'm kind of really waiting for this to grow back. I heard, it can take a year, over a year. I know my hormones have done a lot of healing, and have done, like my body's going through a lot. So I expected my hair to fall out even more. I have Hashimoto's, so I mean, I already deal with thyroid issues, so it was already falling out from that. So I'm not too concerned with it. It's not the greatest of things, but I'm not so vain to where if I have no hair, like I'll just get a wig, like I'll just shave it off. Like I've always wanted a reason to shave my head and pull a Britney. So if it's just hair, it's not that important in life. So I we'll see. We'll see. I'll keep you guys updated on this hair issue. I feel like it was growing back for a short period of time. When I first started the diet, it was growing back like crazy, and then it's kind of stopped. It fell out, and then around like the 7-8 month mark, it started growing back really good again. And then it's kind of like stopped, and then it's just been shedding and losing again. So I don't it's kind of been like going like this, so I don't know. I'm kind of just holding out. I'm gonna see before I start throwing supplements or throwing stuff in and doing all these crazy different things. I'm just gonna let my body like do its own thing, for probably another year. Like if I'm bald by next year, then I'll look at maybe taking some biotin or bunch of other stuff. I'll look into different things. But as of right now, I'm not too concerned with it because my body is doing great and freaking amazing things right now. Doing all of this healing, all of this stuff. So if it's shedding all my old nasty hair and, I'm gonna have a full head of hair again in 2 years, like it'll be worth it. Even 5 years, like whatever. And my thought is if I start taking a bunch of stuff or trying to do a bunch of stuff to treat my hair loss, then essentially I don't have that baseline of where my body is at. So I want to know completely, like, is my body starting to heal, or I want to be able to know if, oh, my hair is coming back because my body is healing, not, oh, my hair is coming back because I'm throwing a bunch of stuff on it and, all this supplements or things to get it to grow, or to aid it in growth. I want to see. I want to see how the soil is and test the soil here first before I start amending it with a bunch of stuff, essentially. I so I'm not saying I won't ever do that. I want to give this, like, I would assume for how much damage over the last, what, how old am I? The abuse to my body, through eating and just, the, you know. So I expect it to take more than, a year to fully my body to, get where it needs to get to. So I am having grace and patience with my body, and I am just enjoying, honestly, the journey, that I'm on. And, I'm loving seeing these new little things that my body is doing and able to do and pushing through. And it's just been very, very exciting and, motivating for me. Like, now that my body is like behind me, like I feel like I have like a partnership now. Like before, I felt So, like, my mind was separate and my body was separate. My mind wanted to do these things, but my body couldn't. And then the days that, like, my body was like, "Oh, I think we can, we can go out and do this, or let's go try to go hiking, let's go do this." My mind would be struggling with, like, anxiety or, depression, different things. So, it's so wonderful to have them together, to my brain and my body be connected, um and see what that looks like and how that feels. And it's been truly just astonishing and amazing. Like, this is how we are meant to live. We are not meant to live like disconnected from, our mind and our body and our soul. And it's just, everything has just came together for me. And yeah, mm, life is 100% like going great for me and worth living. Like, and I knew it was, not saying it wasn't, I'm just saying I think I've made it to where I've always wanted to be, and it's amazing. So I hope, if there was just one person out there that maybe, this helped, or, kind of gave you that, remotivated you maybe to continue to stay on the path you're on, no matter what the path is. I don't care if you're, if you're keto, or you're this, or you're that, or you're, doing this. I don't care. Like, as long as it maybe gave you some kind of motivation to keep on the path that you're keeping on, to get to better things. Um, so yeah, stop my rambling now. See you later.